2 hours later.
Hey, you dorks, this is Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you are listening to The Dorkening.
Hi, I'm Brian Johnson, and although you probably accidentally stumbled across it and have no idea why you're watching it, you are in fact watching The Dorkening.
Hello, this is Tom Kenny, voice actor, the voice of the Ice King on Adventure Time, and SpongeBob SquarePants. Meow. Oh, Gary the Snail, too. Hey, guess what you're filling your eye holes and ear holes with? The Dorkening! Oh, I love The Dorkening. Very popular in Ooh. And Bikini Bottom.
Hi, I'm Lou Ferrigno. You're watching The Dorkening. And you know what? You don't like me when I get angry, so don't get me angry. You better keep watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, this is Felissa Rose, and you're watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, it's Courtney Palm. We're shooting Death House, and you're watching The Dorkening.
This is Anthony Michael Hall, and you're watching The Dorkening. Stay tuned. My friend's going to show you what entertainment's all about, baby.
The Dorkening.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Greetings, Spice fans. Silk City Hot Sauce is now sponsoring the Dorkening Podcast Network. Our craft sauces are made in Vermont in small, high-quality batches using locally sourced, farm-grown ingredients. Silk City Hot Sauce comes in a variety of heat strengths and killer flavors like Jezebel, Erotic Fever, Mango Madness, and Good Morning Jonestown. And don't forget our newest creation, Hot Syrup. Make no mistake, Spice fans, this is the queen of sweet heat. There's new and unique flavors coming out all the time. Best of all, right now, listeners of the Dorkening Podcast Network can go to silkcityhotsauce.com and use coupon code DORK. Not only will you get 20% off your order, we'll also throw in a free bottle of hot sauce. That's silkcityhotsauce.com. Coupon code DORK.
Hey, happy Monday, everybody. You're watching Creator Spotlight, powered by the Dorkening Podcast Network. My name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an awesome show scheduled for you today. And as always, Philip, how's it going, bud?
Hey, Leo, how are you? It's good to see you. And we got a great guest tonight.
Oh, we do. RW, how's it going?
It's going good. Looks like we got Laura Croft along for the show tonight as well. So,
Lara Croft, what are you talking about?
no, never mind. Thought it was Laura Croft.
No,
Sorry.
that's Jill Valentine from Resident Evil.
Like
3.
I said, Jill Valentine. That's what I meant.
That's right. Here you go.
Okay, so our guest, he's an awesome artist, but you also may know him as Andy from Walking Dead. We are talking to the most awesome Jeremy Palko. How's it going, bud?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, why is that human talking for Jeremy? Isn't Jeremy the beagle?
Oh, Jonesy doesn't want to be on camera. So, how's it going, guys?
Good looking dog there. Good looking dog.
Yeah,
he's a good one.
So we know you definitely from Walking Dead, but you're doing a lot of art now. So how's that going?
It's going great. Actually, yeah, something I just kind of fell into in the pandemic. I know a lot of people found other things to do because we're all stuck at home, and I decided to paint one day, and somebody asked to purchase said painting, and I took that money and went and bought a whole bunch of art supplies, and ever since then I've pretty much painted every single day. And yeah, it's been a whirlwind because I do this more than I do acting now, and I never would have thought that. So
that's crazy.
Now, what type of painting do you do? I mean, you said you paint, but that could mean anything. That could be murals, that could be prints, that could be comics. What are you doing?
I guess I should specify that I don't really know what I paint. Like whatever I'm thinking about that day, I kind of paint. I've done, canvases, like landscapes are pretty popular, kind of where my mind goes. I've done like I painted that guitar, and there's a landscape piece and a boombox back here, and just kind of whatever I'm really feeling that day, truly. And
Now these landscapes pieces you got here, are they based off of real life, or are you doing like, a lot of people do like Lord of the Rings landscapes or Game of Thrones landscapes? Are you doing, or outer space landscapes? What type of landscapes do you do?
I mean, basically everything you said, I've done one of each. But
nice.
I never really planned things out. My room is full of about 200 pieces right now that just, one day I feel like painting a little bit. I changed this, I changed that, I turned it the next day, and I'm like, oh my God, that looks like, like a guitar. So I just kind of add a few details, and voila, I have a guitar. But I've kind of kept that premise of just not knowing what I'm doing and just kind of keep going forward and never like question, or like, again, I never really planned things out. But yeah, I've done quite a few paintings and sold quite a few. And now, I'd mentioned earlier, we're talking about NFTs. I'm starting to learn about those, and seems to be the train to jump on. So I'm slowly taking pictures of all my work, and a good portion of them are online, but it is quite a painful process to take pictures of them, do write-ups, write the Ethereum, how much you want to charge, type thing. So yeah, it's getting very interesting with it.
So is there something? Oh, go ahead, Leo.
No. I was just gonna say. So I know a little bit about NFTs for the normal person. What is an NFT, and what does it take to create one?
I'll give you what I've learned and all the talks I've listened to and the YouTube podcasts and whatnot. Essentially, it's this metaverse that people keep talking about, and you don't realize how quickly I think we're kind of getting there. There's so many people that are so much happier online, than they are in the real world. And it's become like a horrible reality that, the pandemic kind of kicked us out of doing things, going to concerts, going out with your friends. A lot of people have resorted to these Zoom type things, and now you can purchase things in these, metaverses. But from what I've come to know, and, as an artist, kind of just starting, what you can do is kind of invest in these pieces as if they were stocks. For instance, I take pictures of the artwork, I post them as NFTs, and I make them, like a limited amount, like only 10 copies of, say the guitar back there. And, I don't charge a whole lot, like $3, $10, something like that. And the hope is that one day that those become a rarity. So the people that purchase these early on, $3, $6, eventually can sell these things to other people that might find the artwork interesting. Now, I think some people approach it straight business, and, other people like myself just want to post some artwork, and, if somebody was to pay for it, great. If not, who cares? Because, it's just a way to show people what you can do. But, why not do it, I guess, is the ultimate reason I'm doing it. So, but yeah, I think that's kind of where people are going with it, create clubs and projects and hype each other up and say that, oh, these, the rare apes that you keep hearing about, if a celebrity says it's rare, then someone else will buy it. That's kind of what's happening right now, I think. And I don't know, I think they're ironing out some details, but yeah, I think a lot of people are going to want credit for their work and get paid for it. And that's not how it is, unfortunately, in the real world sometimes, where, I can't speak for musical artists. I just know it's not fair for them. And so they're finding a way in the NFT world. And I don't know, it's just a very interesting time to be, in the midst of it. So.
Yeah, it's crazy to hear that some of these NFTs going for like tens of thousands of dollars.
And it's ridiculously stupid. Like, I don't get it. I've sold about 15 NFTs. So like my work, someone has it, and that's kind of cool. I love it. Like, I'm completely flattered and honored, but like, I don't know why anyone would, spend $1 million on something. I just don't know. But it kind of. I'm sorry.
What is an NFT? I'm not familiar with that term.
It's a non-fungible token. That's what they call it. It's just a means for a means. So, it's a way to, I don't know, decrease inflation on prices. I don't know, but it ultimately just seems like people are attempting to write their own kind of stocks or checks. Like, hey, buy this for $3, and you get Snoop Dogg to buy it for $10,000, and if Snoop has it, then I'll buy it for $100,000. And that, every transaction is a percentage to the OpenSea and a percentage to the original artist. So it's, it has this potential of snowballing into,
Oh, wow. So I didn't realize that. So you put out an NFT.
Yep.
And you sell it for, like $3, but then Snoop Dogg falls in love with it, buys it for $10,000.
Yep.
So the person that bought it from you gets a cut, and you get a cut as well?
Yep. I get 10% of every transaction.
Wow.
That goes.
Okay.
Yeah. And the OpenSea account, which I use, they get like 2.5%. And so I think that's how, that's the money side. People are trying to get, money from it. So.
Okay. That makes a hell of a lot more sense now.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. So Phil, basically, it's only like about a year old or 2 years old NFTs, and
is it a specific website and stuff that you go through, Jeremy?
This is one of the main ones, and it's the only one I know. You'll hear the term gas fee a lot, and that means that you purchase the space, I guess. But the OpenSea, you can list them for free, and no one gets paid unless it's sold. So the only thing is you have to have a Ethereum account that has money in it. I put like $100 in it. So now I can wheel and deal in this universe and, buy something, sell something. And it's just become this online trading frenzy of artists. And I don't know, like I said, very interesting for somebody who's pursued acting my entire life. And then pandemic kind of shut everything down. And one day I truly got bored. Jonesy, hey. I'm in an interview, man. Shut up. Yeah. And so I just started painting. And, I got to do a couple of conventions and tours this past year, and kind of got out there and got, it's been really cool, positive responses.
So
And-
two things. One, were you, did you take art in school or anything, or is this you were just bored and you're like, see if I can do this?
Absolutely 100% bored.
Wow. So like you had no training. You just were like, I wonder if I can do this. And you became Bob Ross.
What's weird is I watched a lot of Bob Ross as a kid and no one else did. And I was like fascinated by it. So I still watch Bob Ross episodes, but it's so weird because I always looked at people that talked about art and looked at art and, art history. And it was just, talk. And now I really have a found respect for this. And it's impressive. Like the people I've met just, online and, through the actual art shows I've done here in Atlanta. It's a really interesting, cool group of people I'm slowly getting to know a lot better about. So
last year before the pandemic hit, or maybe it was 2 years ago, it's hard to, everything's a blur, but
it's blurred.
My girlfriend started painting. She's like, I'm going to try painting. And so she was painting on canvas and stuff. And then she had like 5,000 paintings that we have no room for. So now she paints on her iPad.
Yeah.
So now she does it on her iPad and saves them or whatever. But now these NFTs, are they like, I'm still confused. Is that like a digital file or something?
It is what's called a minted edition. So say the Mona Lisa, for instance, and, there's one physical copy in the real world, unless you're a conspiracy theorist of some sort. But in the meta universe, there is only maybe like 5 digitally minted copies that, 1 of 1 or 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, whatever. And it creates this rarity and scarcity in the universe. And so someone can say, oh, I've got a screenshot of the Mona Lisa. And someone else will go, well, I have the 3rd edition of it and I could sell it for $5 million on the metaverse. That's where we are literally crossing into other dimension or other, Web3, they're calling it. So,
but what's stopping somebody from just making copies of these files?
Hey. My dog will let me talk. They use what's called a blockchain, and I guess this blockchain is its own universe, but there's only 1 of them or 2 of them or something like that. And in that universe, things are only 1 of 1 or 2 of 2. Like you can't copy them in the universe, and they're all digitally stamped or VIN numbered or whatever you want to call it to, I guess, keep the rarity about and keep the scammers out. So,
gotcha.
Yeah. So from what I understand, I mean, people can copy the image, but there's no ownership of it. It's kind of like them just pirating something. There's no ownership on their end. Where once it's on the blockchain, it's tracked that way. And like you mentioned, the gas fees. The gas fees with Ethereum is, for a transaction to take place, there's computers that have to do the computations in the background. And that's where you get into the crypto miners, because they're doing the computations for those gas fees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crypto's where it's at. And now NFTs.
Every Super Bowl ad was a crypto commercial.
Yeah.
And we're all watching the game. We're just we still have no idea what it really, really is,
Well, I just know I bought in on Shiba just at the right time, so I'm Shiba all the way. Okay.
How old were you when you got the acting bug, and what was that training, schooling and stuff like?
I mean, I always had this bug to kind of want to act. I guess 3rd grade when I did my first play, but growing up in Seattle, I didn't have any friends that did any sort of theater or any kind of acting. So I never really got into it until college, I'd say, when I kind of took my first acting class. I'd been playing sports my whole life, thought I was going to go play football somewhere, and, typical jock, blew out my knee. And then the second time in college, I blew out my other knee, and that's when I decided to just kind of give up on sports altogether. Took my first acting class, did a few plays. After college, I worked on the Disney Cruise Line, of all things, because I was a Disney kid growing up. I wanted to work for them and started dancing like a pirate on the cruise ship for about 2 years. And, that kind of took all my college stage and theater and then just put it out in the real world and to the test. And I had a great time doing it. And then when I moved to Florida after 2 years, I got an agent, started seeking out auditions and commercials, and landed my first movie, and got 2008 called Never Back Down. And yeah, I've been kind of pursuing it ever since because it's, never knew growing up that you could actually do this for like, money. So it's kind of nice to, to see it paying off a little bit, I guess.
Let me ask. Oh, go on.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask. Now, with obviously COVID, and some people would say that it's winding down, but with it there for 2 years, how did that hurt or hinder your acting chances? I assume, based off of what you're saying, I think you said you don't live in Los Angeles area, so how does that affect your ability to get jobs in films and television?
Well, I live in Atlanta, thankfully, and Atlanta's, the real hotspot for film and television, has been for the last decade.
That's true. The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, yeah. Pinewood Studios is right down.
Stranger Things.
Thank God they're going into a 5th season. So I've read for that show like 4 times, and
Oh wow!
I'm always so close. I'm praying that they just keep shooting. So, but actually during quarantine it was interesting. I had this audition for a Tyler Perry, kind of soap opera, and I did it. And I didn't think twice about it. And then they gave me a call, and I booked like, 20 episodes. And so I didn't know how they were going to shoot because we were smack dab in the pandemic. And what had happened was, we had to get COVID tested. Then we were brought into Tyler Perry Studios, and just like a little summer camp mini bubble, we shot for 2 weeks. This show's called Ruthless. It's on BET. And so I was working quite a bit during the pandemic, like that first year. And then I worked on another show. What was it called? Saints and Sinners. Sorry. So, but a lot of the productions around here shut down. I'd actually booked a role on a Sylvester Stallone movie, and I was so excited, and got a call that they had to completely cut my scene because it had more than a certain number of extras in the scene. And COVID regulations were immediate. Like, you couldn't have crowds more than 10 people. So it really, I don't even know what happened to that project. But yeah, and I knew that for a couple of my friends who were booked on projects, and they all got, some let go and some just got pushed to later dates. So.
Wow.
Has most of your work been at the Georgia area rather than on location elsewhere?
Yeah, I've shot. I was actually in Florida I've been in Georgia the last 5 years, but before that I was in Orlando for about 9 years. So most of the work was like the commercial work and then print work and smaller stuff was all in Florida. But anytime you book like a speaking role, like Sleepy Hollow or Walking Dead, obviously I was driving up to Georgia. So, but most of it, yeah, going to be Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Carolinas.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy how, and you mentioned like the past decade, like everything's been in Georgia, but you watch every movie and it's like at the very end is you see the little, what is it? The peach.
Peach thing.
Yeah. It's
yeah. Atlanta or Ontario.
Yeah. Canada's a good one.
Yeah.
So, with your art, I just want to make sure everybody knows I have a bunch of links in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And it's artbypalco.square.site. And that link is there as well. And there's also an OpenSea.io /artbypalco. That link's in there as well if you want to check out the NFTs as well.
Leo, do we have any JPEGs we could show? I know you showed a couple earlier.
Yep.
That's the coolest thing is like you can show all the pictures you want and you can like screenshot them. I don't care. So.
I being a Star Wars fan, I absolutely love this one. Are you?
That's awesome.
Yeah. You got a couple different Star Wars ones, and
yeah, BB-8.
Yeah,
BB-8. And then the old Batman.
Yeah, that's really cool. And
I love that waterfall.
Yeah, how many paintings have you done so far? Your website has
you said like 200 or something, right?
Oh no, I've done like probably 5,000 in the last.
Wow.
Like some of them, I've got stacks upon stacks I'm looking at right now, and it's weird. I just can't stop. Like every day. Like I just go to, I've been to Michael's so many damn times. Like I never thought, like, you know, I also just turned 39. So I'm like, I'm 39 years old and I go to Michael's all the time. So not where I thought my life was going, but I tell you what, I couldn't be happier, having a blast. And like I said, like I post most of my artwork kind of weekly on my Instagram for sure, and my Facebook. And you know, it's kind of weird because I'm starting to have to tell people, like, first come first serve. You know, because somebody be like, oh, it's really cool, I'd love to like purchase that. And be like, I'm sorry, my mom already stole it. So it's been a really cool kind of problem to have, but.
It's amazing how many actors out there. I mean, right now I can't remember any of their names, but like Gene Hackman, let's just say, they retire from acting and then they pick up this love of painting. But you didn't retire yet, and you picked it up or whatever. But I'm saying it's just amazing how many actors also are painters or whatever.
It's amazing how, you know, I've met a few kind of cool artists along the way here, and they've told me about it being a process, and it's like this soul searching kind of thing. And as cheesy as it sounds, I want to be like, yeah, sure, but you know, they're really hitting on the head. But I've noticed that like the correlation between, you know, acting and art can be quite similar if you take that mindset, and the fact that like when you paint, like I think Bob Ross kind of just always said happy accidents, and I never really took that to heart. But what that means is kind of like when things don't go your way, you know, go with it. And you know, with acting, it's always like you try to get it perfect every time you try to, and I think that hinders a lot of people. I know it did for me for a while, thinking you had to do every scene 100% correct or one way. You know, you need to be able to just, you know, kind of like painting and acting is just go with it. And you know, I think that makes it easier. But I can see why a lot of actors would turn to painting. So Xander Berkeley from Walking Dead, amazing artist. If you ever go to his Twitter, he posts a lot of his stuff.
Del Kilmer did some stuff.
Yeah, a lot of folks do.
I love the documentary. That was really cool.
Now, let me ask you this. Obviously, you said you started doing it due to COVID, but with you know, the modern era and technology and the internet and all that, versus say the olden days, like the 70s or 80s. It's hard to say that those are the olden days, but they are now. You know, people have to actually go to, you know, big cities or museums or whatever and try to promote themselves or wherever they can find a little art studio or something. But with the internet, how's that been working out for you? Because it must be a little more easier to get connections, maybe.
You know, I guess connections, kind of. Like I've met a lot of people and have had interest of like doing commission pieces and whatnot. But you know, yeah, God bless the internet. It's a incredible advertising tool for somebody like myself or anybody with a, you know, a small business of sorts, you know, to promote yourself and to get out there. So yeah, it's been really nice and a very easy transition from, you know, auditioning and acting to promoting artwork, you know. So
now, do you do anything on Etsy at all?
You know, I tried Etsy for a minute, and man, just each piece of artwork to post, you had to fill out like 4 pages of documents, and I was.
Oh wow, really?
And then you had to pay for, you know, having it up there every single day, and you know, I kind of used my little Walking Dead kind of foot in the door to say, hey, what's up, everybody? You know, I paint too, and so majority of the people that I've met and come across and have purchased, you know, some of my stuff have been. You know, being very fortunate to have been, you know, a small part of that show. So,
so Etsy was charging you? They didn't just take a percentage off of a sale?
Yeah, and it was like, you know, limited time that it could be up. And so what I basically did was just start, you know, advertising on my platform. Like, hey, if you guys want to purchase one, just direct message me. And then I set up a Square account and a link. And so now I have to pay taxes on it, which sucked. But yeah.
Let me ask you this.
I didn't know that about Etsy. I mean, I'm not there all the time, but every now and then you find something. But that's weird that they charge you every day to have something there. I'm like,
I mean, I don't know. Like I checked it out like about 1.5 years ago, and you know, I wouldn't say I researched it too much. I just knew that posting elsewhere was a lot easier for me to do it there than opposed to Etsy.
Yeah. Plus, you have your own fan base that, you know, you can, you know, helps you push it onto your own site, and your own site is ultimately the best place to have it anyway. And it sounds like Etsy went more like the eBay route,
Yeah, and I actually thought about eBay, but again, it's like you can only have it up for so long, and you do pay
Fill out a lot of pages
per day. So, and then I would have to charge more for my artwork just to make it like worthwhile. But I've literally set up a little studio in my house. I paint in one room, they rest in the next room, they get sprayed in this room. They get pictures over there, they get like sealed over here, and then I had to go buy the packing system. Like I signed up for the pirate ship where I can print my postage, which, again, a good problem to have. I was going to the post office, like 3 days a week, and during December, it was horrible.
Let me ask you this: we have a large audience that watches this live, but we do have even more audience that watch this after it's recorded, and they watch it and listen to it whenever they want, like a lot of podcasts. But we have a lot of group of folks who, from working class folks to very, very wealthy folk. If folks were interested in some of your work, how would they? Well, let me rephrase that. What would be the price range that you would think that some of that stuff would go? Again, like you said, you just throw it out there and the market determines it. So, but I'm sure a lot of folks who are listening, whether they're the working class folk that watch the show or the very wealthy folk, they would be curious to know, because I'm sure no matter what their demographics are, that they'd be interested.
Yeah, and I've had a few people reach out, and again, like I've only been doing this for about a year and a half, and I actually did just send one of my first paintings was 4 feet by 2 feet, and that's when I realized how much shipping costs. And so just to ship something to the West Coast was costing me a couple $100, and I only charged a couple $100, so I wound up making like absolutely nothing on this. And so moving forward, I had done another piece, and so what I'd done was to actually get the canvas, which at times can be anywhere from $50 to $300, incorporate that plus the wherever I have to ship, and then just time and effort. And but I'm not Picasso, I understand that, so they're not like extravagantly whatnot, but I love that. I'd rather have people who want it to, when people buy the art, it's always amazing to know that my work's going to be somewhere in someone's house, I guess. So that always flatters me, and it like keeps me going and inspires me to keep doing stuff. But to the people that are like seriously interested in pieces, yeah, absolutely. We'll sit down, discuss, and come to an agreement.
Well, like any art, it's subjective, but it's every piece speaks to somebody differently. It's I look at something, I can get something completely different out as opposed to like Philip was to look at something. So with all the different selections you have, I would imagine there's something for everybody there. Especially Star Wars geeks like me.
Leo wants that. I think that's what Leo's trying to say. How much do you want for the Millennium Falcon? But he's beating around the bush.
No. I know how much it is. So the question is, can I convince my wife that we need it?
Yeah, and that one's fluctuated quite a bit. When I first started, somebody offered a very large amount for it, and I kind of said no because I didn't know this person, and they were from like Belgium or something like that, but they had contacted me through Twitter. But honestly, I love that one. I held on to it for a while, but sometimes you just got to pay bills. So
yeah.
Some of the stuff that. Go ahead, Leo. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to ask. So, are you a Star Wars fan?
Oh God, I like the original ones with like Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill. Yeah. I've never seen Phantom Menace, I will say that. But I loved Rogue One, and
yeah, where's Brandon when you need him?
So
yeah, that's a good one.
Is my manager, Stacy Williams, my convention manager. She's partners with Spencer Wilding, who's a good friend of mine now, and he played Darth Vader in Rogue One. So nice. He travels quite a bit, and he does a lot of cool projects. And man, got to hang out with him quite a few times, and really nice guy. So yeah, I'm a Star Wars. I wouldn't say geek, like. I don't like Star Wars tattoos or anything, so
you just enjoy them,
I do, yeah. I respect it, I enjoy it, and anytime I go,
he's not you, Leo. He's not you.
Yeah.
Now, do you like the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian and all that stuff that Disney's putting out? And are you looking forward to the Obi-Wan series at all, or do you follow those at all?
I watched the first series, Mandalorian, and I just had like throat surgery. I remember I had to sit on a couch for 2 weeks and I couldn't speak. So my roommate was like bringing me, ice cubes and everything while I was watching this. And I just remember not liking it very much. And I haven't seen the new Boba Fett, but it looks really cool. And I love Jon Favreau, so I love all the stuff he does. So, but I'm trying to get back into it, obviously. But again, like I like the older ones so much. I actually liked Han Solo. I didn't actually mind that one. I don't know why.
Yeah, I when they first were
bad rap.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was there's Star Wars fans who just watch it all, and then there's Star Wars fans who bash half the stuff and whatever. But I enjoyed Solo and Rogue One.
Force Awakens, I like that one. I thought that one was really cool.
I just wanted to switch gears and back to
before we do, just real quick, last Star Wars item.
Jesus!
If you're gonna watch Boba Fett, you need to watch Mandalorian season 2 because this is sort of like a Mandalorian season 3. And second, if you're do some research on the Harmy edition of Star Wars. Yeah, it's some guy spent like years of his life.
Dork alert!
Oh, geez,
no one cares about it. No one cares.
I care. Everybody cares.
So
basically, it's the original trilogy as they appeared in the theaters.
I know, but I want to talk about Jeremy stuff, man.
Not once Lucas decided to like add a bunch of stuff and take a bunch of stuff out.
Now let's get back to Jeremy. I want to talk about Jeremy stuff. I don't want to talk about Star Wars or whatever.
Thank you.
Hey, if you keep it up, I'll start talking about Taylor Swift, and you know how that'll be, because I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. But Jeremy, let me ask you this: you mentioned something about conventions and stuff. So do you go to various types of conventions, art conventions, or is it genre conventions, or is it all sorts of conventions? And can people obviously meet you there, get autographs, maybe even look at some of your artwork? Tell us all about that, and any events that are coming up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been lucky enough, because of The Walking Dead, travel quite a bit, for Comic-Cons, and some of the other actors from the show are there, and I've been lucky enough to do some very big ones, like Rhode Island Comic-Con. I've been welcomed back there a couple of years in a row now.
I probably saw you there. I was there this year.
Yeah, Rhode Island's a great one. I've done also with their alternate reality company. I've done Colorado Springs, but I've done, everywhere from Canada to England to, Washington, California. But it all been acting stuff, kind of, meet and greet, sign some Walking Dead, pictures. And but just this past probably year and a half, I've been bringing my artwork with me. And so it's been really cool to get people's impressions, especially people I've met numerous times. And, you're not going to come up to me and buy my autograph 5 times, and I'm not offended by it. I don't care. But to show the artwork's been really great. And, again, seeing the same people over and over, you kind of become friends with these fanatics of other shows and stuff, but they're kind of cool enough to swing by my tent. But artwork has been new and a lot of fun to bring around these Comic-Cons. I just did Rhode Island, which was amazing. I was right next to Lou Ferrigno the entire weekend.
Oh, nice.
And Tom Arnold was like right behind me with David Karn and David Koechner, from Whammy. Nicest guy. So that was a lot of fun. I got one coming up. I'm actually heading to Savannah this next weekend on a whim. A friend of a friend is doing a haunted mansion paranormal con or something like that. And they had an actor from The Walking Dead, and apparently they couldn't make it. So they asked me to come, and I was like, I got nothing going on this weekend, so we're going to make a nice little vacation out of it. And Savannah Haunted Paranormal Con, I'll be there this Saturday just for the day. And then doing a local one in Sonoya where they shoot The Walking Dead called The Camp, which is like their 3rd or 4th year, maybe 5th year. And they're really so awesome and so great. I'm really looking forward to that one into May. And then probably Rhode Island Comic-Con in November. So it's kind of on the list right now, but we'll see. Maybe more will pop up, and maybe work will pick back up, and I'll have to cancel a few. Who knows?
Yeah. So do you actually bring your art to Rhode Island Comic-Con? I dropped off for a second for some reason.
Yes. Like I said, it's been like my 5th year doing the con, and this was the first year I brought my artwork, and it was I packed my suitcase, like 2 of them, 50 pounds each, full of artwork, and but yeah, it was really cool, and I basically sold them all, so it was really nice.
That's awesome.
You worked with Cooper, right?
Oh, Cooper Andrews?
Yeah.
Yeah, Coop. Love Coop.
Yeah, I did one con. I cosplay at cons, and I did this one in Idaho, like 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. It's again, my head's a blur. And Cooper was there, and he just seemed like the coolest guy.
He's a big fun-loving dude. I tell you, man, awesome guy.
Yeah, 6 months after the Idaho con, he was at Walker Stalker in Boston, and he had like this huge line, and I just was walking by and kind of waved to him, and he was like literally signing an autograph and was like, "Yo, come here," or whatever. So it was like he remembered me from 6 months ago, and it was just pretty cool. But yeah,
good dude.
Yeah.
So obviously, a lot of people recognize you from Walking Dead, Vampire Diaries, Ruthless. What do people come up to your booth the most to have you sign?
Generally Walking Dead stuff, and it's that one show that's really, I'm always flattered when people come up with posters, and the posters have like 50,000 signatures.
Yeah, that's worth something.
Yeah, and there I am. I'm signing next to like Denai, or I'm signing next to like Norman Reedus or Andrew Lincoln or something like that, and I'm just like, that's awesome. Like, I'm completely flattered that I got really lucky with Andy, like the character. Like, I had read for the show probably a good 5 or 6 times, up until that season. And they were all for one-liners, kind of, day players and stuff. And I remember reading for Andy, and it was the first time I had to do like 2 like really heavy scenes. And they wanted to see 2 takes, so you kind of do contradicting scenes, contrasting takes, just so you can show them you can do something. And when I got the call, I did not know that it was going to be like a 3-year kind of stint on it. And it would have a beginning to his story and an ending to his story. And it was, it was really cool and fitting when I was taken off the show, Scott Gimple calls, not all of the actors, but some of the actors. And I got the death call from him, him thanking me for that. And that was so rare and unusual, but that's what drives the cons and the circuits is the pandemic that is The Walking Dead. And it's incredibly cool and an honor to, be a part of that.
Now, when you go to Michael's to pick all your stuff up, does somebody go, "Were you in The Walking Dead, or were you on like this?"
One time, yes, and I did it myself. It was because someone, I think it was a young lady in Rhode Island, gave me a mask, and it was a Walking Dead mask, and I was at Michael's, which is literally right next to Sonoya here in Georgia. I'm like only 30 minutes from where they shoot now. And somebody asked me like, "Oh, do you watch the show? I love that show." And I said, "Oh yeah, I love that show." And somehow we started talking about characters, and I said, "Oh, I love Andy from Hilltop." And then totally throwing that to the wind, thinking she'd get nothing. She goes, "I like Jesus way better." I said, and I kind of stopped. I said, "Oh, so you know who Andy was?" And she's like, "Oh, I know everybody at Hilltop." And I pulled the mask down, expecting some sort of reaction. She had no idea and thought I was like trying to give her COVID or something like that. I was like, "Oh, hi, I'm Jeremy. I played Andy from the show." And she was really fun, and it was a really cool moment. So
that's
nice.
So did you continue to watch after your character was killed off, or did you just say
spoiler alert? Spoiler alert.
No, actually, like I finished out the season, and then I literally, like, I never really watched TV to begin with. Like, I'll binge watch a few Netflix shows here and there, but, I remember never really getting into The Walking Dead. I'd seen like 2 episodes, and, I wasn't into it, but obviously it got momentum and steam and became, what it was. But right around the time I got cast, I was like, well, I'm going to watch it. And I sat down and I binged, 5 seasons in probably like 2.5 days. So I was like crazy about The Walking Dead, and then the next day I was on set with everybody. So it was a really weird but kind of easy transition to like understand like what was expected. Not only as an actor but like what it takes to carry the story. So
Well, you did a great job, and I really think when they reached Alexandria, that was sort of like the peak of like Walking Dead,
Yeah.
and like after you left, it's just it's because of you it went downhill. They
I
shut the
apologize.
camera.
I apologize if the ratings suffered at all, but I've actually heard the show's doing really well. So.
Oh yeah, it took a huge plunge, and then it's been like climbing back up with the new showrunner, and
I
yeah.
see the advertisements about it, and I am a couple seasons back. I do think I need to go back to like season 9 and 10. I believe they're in 11 now. So, but what I love is that people are going to keep watching it, and it's going to be on Netflix, and so you can always go back to it when you want to.
Yeah. Spoiler, apparently Andrew Lincoln is in Atlanta right now filming the finale.
I saw there was a picture of him and Norman Reedus at some Atlanta restaurant, but I mean, it is Atlanta, and there's like 1,000 movies going on here. So I did see that trending on Twitter, and I kind of rolled my eyes, and I was like,
well, he is Australian, so him being back in Atlanta may mean something more.
He's English.
Oh, he's a Brit? I always thought he was an Australian. How about that?
No,
I knew he was in the U.S.
Him and Tom Payne, who played Jesus, are actually from the same town, I found out. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, how about that?
I made that mistake once. I worked at a theater, and someone came in with an accent, and I said, "Are you from Australia?" And they were from the UK, and they gave me a big speech on never call me an Australian. I was like, oh God.
One thing about me, no matter where I go, everybody knows I'm from Boston because I can't pronounce my R's. So.
Now, Jeremy, if someone watching was, a struggling actor and they wanted to, be where it's at, would you recommend Los Angeles, or would you recommend Atlanta, or would you recommend Vancouver? I mean, is there a certain place that really is the place to be?
I mean, it depends on your stage and wherever you may be in your process of acting. But if you're starting out, generally you can start out anywhere. I mean, theaters, student films, colleges, things like that. Everyone's shooting something, and with YouTube and social media, you can make your own demo reels now. You can work. For anybody who wants to learn about the process of like production, which I found to be extremely helpful, is I was an extra for years. For 10 years I worked as an extra. I remember one time I did a con, and they were like, Jeremy Palko from Magic Mike, over the loudspeaker, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was literally a background extra in Magic Mike. But I learned a lot watching people like Matthew McConaughey on set, and Steven Soderbergh work. So I advise anybody who wants to really get into it to be an extra, to learn, be a stand-in, see how things are working. Get an agent. Obviously, that's the next thing, and then they will submit you on auditions, and everything else is going to be up to you. And there's 1,000,001 ways to learn how to act and to act. So seize every one of those opportunities you can. So you never know which one's going to pan out.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do you think Atlanta is more where it's at than Hollywood is now, or no?
No, don't come to Atlanta. I'm just kidding. I have a lot of friends here that are like, man, don't bring any more people here. But I would say Atlanta's kind of the new Hollywood.
Yeah.
It all comes down to money and tax dollars, and where is it cheaper to shoot, and where does the sun stay up the longest? And Georgia is that place, and I'm very fortunate for that. I think LA is obviously never going to go away. That's California, it's Hollywood. There's a studio system there that's set. New York is a fantastic place to find work. Obviously, if you got the means to go to Vancouver, Ontario, or even Chicago, Minnesota areas seem to be blooming and blossoming with a lot of work. So, yeah, nice. But Atlanta's definitely up there as the new Hollywood, or the young Hollywood. So
nice. Yeah, I've been doing it for 35 years, and I've been work on independent movies all the time. And 1 minute I'm in a scene acting, and the next minute I'm holding the boom, because that's the way it is. Yeah. But by doing that, you learn the whole process of everything. So it makes it really nice. But I see a lot of people on set fooling around and talking. I'm like, dude, shut up and pay attention. You can learn so much, but you're so just sit there and you can take it all in, and you learn so much by watching everybody do what they do. So
I think That's ultimately it. Is you're always going to learn something new by going out, because every project is ultimately different from the other one. I mean, there's going to be an aspect of it that you take from it, and good experiences, bad experiences. You got to be there to witness it and to learn it. So yeah, get on set, be an extra.
Yeah.
Atlanta, LA, anywhere.
We spoke to Eric Roberts last week, and he was actually recently in Atlanta filming Royal was it Gemstones, not Royal
the Royal Gemstone, or the Righteous Gemstones.
Righteous Gemstones, yeah. And he said they're going to be filming season 3 in Georgia as well. Have you read for that, or have you thought about?
I read for season 1. They were actually out in North Carolina at the time. My friend Josh McHale, he got a good part on that. He played like this Jesus gothic freak, and he's like dancing and everything. It was absolutely hilarious. But yeah, that's a funny show. Eric Roberts, that's so funny. My very first Comic-Con, I went and did this Comic-Con, friend of a friend, and I hadn't done Walking Dead yet. I had done Bloodline on Netflix, which I thought was the greatest show in the world, and it is a fantastic show, but people don't know it at Comic-Cons. Anyway, Eric Roberts was my neighbor, and man, he just looked like he didn't want to be there, first of all, but he was very, very polite, and I was a huge, obsessed, best of the best fan. Growing up as a kid who took martial arts, who competed, at tournaments and everything, Eric Roberts in Best of the Best was one of his best performances, I'm going to say.
Awesome. Totally.
It was the best of the best.
Yeah.
Best of the best.
I watch Righteous Gemstones with my wife. That show absolutely friggin' hilarious. It's just amazing. This season, they de-aged John Goodman, and it's just insane. I mean, it looks like he stepped off the set of Roseanne. It's just crazy.
Yeah. That's good.
Wish someone would de-age me.
We have a couple minutes left. Jeremy, what do you besides your painting and going to cons, and what do you have going on, or what's coming up?
The painting thing is big. I've got like a few art shows that I've been reaching out to. I did a couple last year, but now I have like way more stuff. So the art shows become really important to me, but acting equally as important. And as the new year kicks off, auditions are thankfully coming back. They always take a unfortunate hiatus over the holidays, which are, a pain. But yeah, just like the next actor, I'm trying to get the next job. So
yeah.
But I actually did just work on a really cool series called Tales on BET, and we shot that. That had to have been last October. And I wanted to say I worked with one of the most fantastic actors who I've met a few times, Moses Mosley, who was one of the original walkers on Walking Dead. He was Denai's, pet walkers. Anyway, sweetest kid, wound up passing away a few weeks ago, and the show has not aired yet, so it's going to be an interesting episode for sure. Seeing Moses, having worked with him, not too long ago, and knowing that he's not going to be there to see it is going to be a tough one, but I'm really looking forward to it because the episode, the show is Tales. It's on BET, and they take like a modern song, and they're using Fight the Power from Public Enemy, and they incorporate a modern day tale. And unfortunately, this heavy episode was loosely based around the George Floyd, incident. So it's a really heavy episode. So I know that's coming out soon. I don't know the exact date, but as soon as I do, I will post on my social media. But I'm looking forward, to seeing that. So.
Yeah. That was certainly sad news.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Yeah. Well, definitely don't want to end on downer. We'll definitely so we'll look for Tales, and if you're looking for more festivals to go to, and I think when you're on another episode on the network, I might have mentioned this to you. If you want to head north, there is one called the Mystic Outdoor Art Festival.
Mystic Outdoor Art Festival. Hold on, I got my pen here. I want to write that down.
Yeah.
Mystic.
Yep, Mystic Outdoor Art Festival.
Is that in New York?
No, Mystic,
Connecticut.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep. No. It's a little town here. It's actually not even a real town. It's a combination of it.
Two towns.
Two towns, but it's where Mystic Pizza was filmed. It's a huge tourist trap. But that
humongous tourist trap.
that gets crazy traffic every year. Like over the weekend, I think it's like 2 million people. It's just insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely check it out. It's just all independent artists. And
to help you out, it's right next to New London, Connecticut. That's a fairly bigger town that a lot of people know.
Yeah.
Virginia Beach Art Festival. Thank you, Billy.
Oh, there we go, Billy.
That's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've written at some of these art festivals, and it's always kind of cool to just show them my stuff and see what they think. And so, it's kind of like acting. You get the thumbs up or the thumbs down. So we'll see.
Well, fingers crossed for you. And definitely everybody watching, check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. Art by Palko. And you can also get his art in NFTs right now. So, if you're looking to get into that, your OpenSea looks like it's real easy for somebody to get into.
It's ridiculously easy. And I'm hoping it's not one of those too good to be true kind of things, because like I said, I'm going to be painting anyway, so I might as well take pictures of them and make them into NFTs. So
that's awesome. Billy says, I got you. I'll message you and talk with them this week.
Billy. Love Billy, man.
Hey, Leo, maybe you can get an NFT of the Falcon. Huh? There you go.
There we go.
There's only a few of those. So if it's rare in my mind, I only make a few of them in the metaverse, so who knows? So I'm trying to get Snoop Dogg to buy one of mine, for like $3.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you, RW. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
That I can sneak by the wife. That shouldn't be a problem.
There you go.
Awesome. So I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. Definitely check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. To follow Jeremy and to check out his art, the NFTs, and everything about him. Jeremy, where do you like people interacting with you on social media?
I've become far more on the Twitter sphere than I have been elsewhere, because last year I got hacked on Instagram, so I lost 10 years worth of friends and memories and all that stuff. But it was kind of a good time to start over. But you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. I run my sites. I don't let anyone else do it for me. So, yeah, if you have questions, just want to chat, hit me up.
Awesome. And looking at the sneaker behind you, are you a sneakerhead, or is
that's actually my shoe? So it's actually around here somewhere. I don't even know where it's at. I was doing this, like you could see all the background to it, and then I'd actually dripped the blue paint on that, and I was like, what has blue paint on it? And so I kind of morphed it into a shoe. Yeah.
Wow.
But no, not really a sneakerhead, no.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't learn about it until his Jeff Goldblum did a show on it, and it's
oh my God,
crazy, that community.
Yeah. Yes. Sneakers. Oh my God, Jeff.
You do that too well.
I love that guy, but it's like he stands right next to him and he's like, tell me about the sneakers. And I'm like, okay, Jeff.
RW, where do you like people following you?
Well, everything's down here. If you go to my webpage, all my social media is at the bottom. And don't forget, my book on Amazon, Life Inside My Head. You really want to get inside there to figure out why I'm like this.
And you'll let us know when the audiobook comes out as well.
Yeah, it's being worked on right now. Like I said, I did the audiobook myself. So it's going to be not your normal, you grow up in a small town. It's going to be like wacky and fun and keep the people who are listening to it in their car awake so they don't run off the road.
Oh, wacky and fun, just like you. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Philip.
Yeah, they can find me. Let's see there, right there. 11 years been in existence. Multiple podcasts, news, release notices, all sorts of things. A website you should check out every day. Also, you can find me on Facebook at Philip Perrin and the Dark Discussions Podcast Facebook group.
Very cool. And I got all that information in the show notes. And me, I run the Dorkening Podcast Network. We got about 40 shows on the network. A lot of awesome people doing a lot of awesome stuff. And with that, have a good one. Bye.
Thanks, Jeremy.
See you guys.